So when I first started mountain biking in Boston, I would go to Middlesex Fells. And then I found out about this place. It is the Western Greenway in Belmont. It's a place that you can pretty much bike to depending on where you live in greater Boston. It's super accessible from Cambridge, Somerville, and this spot specifically is in Belmont. If you're coming from downtown Boston, you can get here a bit easier by taking the commuter rail from North Station to Belmont. Then you're pretty much right at the start of the trail. But for me, someone that doesn't own a car, this place has been amazing for me to get my dose of nature. And if you just look like what's behind me right there, like you don't feel like we're in the city. You feel like we're in exactly where you want to be. So as far as the type of riding that's out here, there's a lot of like single track mountain biking. You know, New England is known for being kind of rocky and rooty. So there's definitely a good amount of that, but there's also a good amount of like really smooth areas. I have my gravel bike, which what I will say is for riding around here, you're not going to want anything less than this bike right here. You're probably ideally going to want like a hardtail mountain bike or a full suspension. I think if you're going to have the most fun out here and be comfortable, you're going to want a full suspension mountain bike. With that being said, you can pretty much ride anything with a bit thicker tires similar to this one. It's important just to come out here, see for yourself. It all depends on the type of rider you are. What I will say is there's something here for every skill level. If it's your first time mountain biking, you can definitely come here and have a good time. I would just recommend the first few times you ride the trails, areas that look a little bit sketchy, just walk your bike over them instead of trying to do something that you're not capable of yet. As far as for more like expert riders, I will say that this place probably won't fully suit your style. You're gonna have a lot of fun here, but if you want more like intense technical stuff, you're gonna wanna go to Middlesex Fells if you're trying to go somewhere close to the city. And then if you're willing to travel either by commuter rail or by car, you can go to some places like Lynn Woods, Vietnam, or like there's so many other small places around greater Boston that are awesome for more technical rocky rooty mountain biking. But hey, we've got this right here, literally miles from the city. I think this is an awesome asset for us. But it's important to note that there are a lot of trail users out here, whether that be hikers or bikers. So it's important to be respectful. You can ride here year round. In the winter, you're probably gonna need a fat bike or some studded tires with the snow and ice. You are gonna wanna be cognizant of mud season in like late February, March, and early April when the snow is melting in Boston. If you're out riding the trails and you're leaving marks, then you shouldn't be riding that day. Let it dry out and then go out. That's how we're gonna preserve the trails and make them rideable for as many people as possible. Something that's kind of cool about this area is that there are some spots like this one that kind of open up. And in a lot of places in New England, mountain biking wise, like you're always just shrouded by the trees, which is a really cool look. It's so New Englandy. It's a New England forest, but it's fun to have that feeling of like compression and then expansion where you come out from the trees and you see this just open field. It's really pleasing to the eye, and I really like spending time in those areas. If you live in Belmont or in Waltham or Watertown, you're gonna be like super accessible to these trails. I guess you can look at a map and I'll show that on the screen here. When I was looking for housing, I was actually looking at places that were around here because I thought this place was so cool. I'd want to spend more time here. I live near Davis Square in Somerville, and it's about a 20-minute bike ride from there for me, which is really accessible. I wish I was a little bit closer sometimes, but at the end of the day, an extra 20 minutes on each end of the ride is not so bad. Every time I come here, I just am so glad I did it. So yeah, I've got another video where I talk about mountain biking in Middlesex Fells. I talk about some similar information there. That's another cool spot. But if you haven't come out here, definitely give it a shot. Come hiking here or come biking. And I think once you know this is here, you're gonna have a much greater appreciation for the nature we have close here in Boston and really enjoy your time here.